Velkommen. Jeg heter Kathryn, og jeg fortleggerfræðingur fra Northwestern University i Bandaríkjunum. And that's as much Icelandic as I'm going to try to do it. As I'm working on an archaeological project, and to me, Fulbright represents opportunity. Earlier in the program, someone mentioned 3 pillars of Fulbright as relationships, knowledge, and exchange. And as I was listening to that, I realized that there are aspects of each of those that play into why I am so grateful for the opportunity to be a Fulbright scholar, which is the relationships that I've been able to forge through my affiliations with the Bygdasavn Skagfjordinga in Skagfjordur and the University of Iceland here in Reykjavik. The knowledge that I have gained through my ability to work with all of these people and learn from them, and is one that is in part represented by the scan from a 19th century diary on this slide. And finally, the opportunity for exchange, as I've been able to share my research and in turn learn about other people's research, both archaeologists and ecologists and farmers and historians all throughout Iceland during my year here, and not least the opportunity to be able to practice my language skills. So thank you, and I will turn it over to who's next? Allie.
Hi everyone, my name is Yingst, and I'm currently pursuing a master's in coastal and marine management at the University Center of the West Fjords in Ísafjörður. I'm really happy that I'm here today and that I'm a Fulbright grantee, and the word that comes to mind when I think of Fulbright is synergy, or the ability to create something bigger and better together than what you would be able to create alone. And I think of Fulbright when I think of that word because of the incredible knowledge that we're able to create together when Fulbright brings people from the United States and people from Iceland together in the same place. And I chose to illustrate this word with a picture of the rowing competition in Ísafjörður, because alone I would not have been able to row a boat like that, but together I was able to. We didn't win, but we did our best and it was pretty great. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Megan. I am the scholar who's learning Icelandic at the university, and I'm also translating an anthology of poetry after women, by women, sorry. So, Fulbright represents exploration for me because of the surprising places that I've found space dedicated to the subject of my anthology and my work. Take this bookshelf, for example. Boken bookshelf has an entire shelf for poetry by women, albeit with a typo. I know that's cute though. The owner and I had a short conversation about Icelandic, or in Icelandic rather, about Icelandic and about poetry. And he was so happy with it, with this unexpected conversation about poetry and gender and translation, that he gave me a book called Skólaljóð, or school poems, which I think you all read and memorized parts of, right? So he gave this to me as a gift, and I thought it was really apropos. And it gave me more cultural context than I had expected when I went in looking for a book by Jón Gnarr, which I was reading for school. And Fulbright has both encouraged me to explore in new places and fostered my ability to speak in this language that I love so much, and things like that wouldn't have happened to me if I hadn't been given this honor. So, thank you, and if you want to talk Icelandic with me, I'll be here all night.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm studying geology as a postdoc at the University of Iceland, and my word is community. And so I think this really embodies Fulbright, and I want to tell you a little story about how I view community in Iceland and Fulbright. And one way that Fulbright really fosters community for us grantees is that they host monthly events. And I'm lucky enough to be hosted in Reykjavik, so I can go to a lot of these events. And one of those was hosted by the Alumni Association, and it was out in Nautholtsvík. And I had been to Nautholtsvík before, mainly for the hot pools, and I think I put one of my big toes into the Pacific and then ran out frantically screaming like an American. And I knew that this would be a bit of a different experience because we were going to go swimming in the Pacific. And so when I got to the pool, the first person I ran into was Ranver, who is the advisor at the commission. Many of you might know him. He was bundled up in, I think, 3 coats and a hat and scarf, and I said, Ranver, come on, let's go, let's hop in the Pacific. He was like, me? No, I'm just taking pictures. I'm not going swimming. So I knew we had something in store for us that day. So these lovely women, as part of the Alumni Association, took us in and showed us how to appropriately swim in the Pacific, and that is while breathing and moving very slowly. And so we had a great time. And then as we were being rewarded by sitting in the hot pool, one of the women came by with a bag of brown stuff, which I had no idea what it was. And now, having lived in Iceland for 6 months and knowing how much Icelanders love their coffee, should have guessed that it was coffee grounds. And so they took us to the outdoor showers and showed us how to exfoliate with coffee grounds following the swim. So needless to say, it was a great experience, and Fulbright really fostered that and allowed us to integrate with the community in this event and many others, and I'm sure many to come. So thank you.
So thank you, ladies. And our U.S. grantees mean so much to the Fulbright program in Iceland. I know that these women, like many grantees before them, will be wonderful ambassadors for Iceland and the Fulbright program once they return to the U.S. We do have a couple of additional U.S. scholars in the audience, I think, who arrived more recently and are here for the spring semester. Is Dr. T.J. Boisseau here? Who's teaching gender studies? Yeah, just stand up and say hello. Yes. Hi. And Dr. Scott Erickson, who's doing research under the Fulbright NSF Arctic program, and he's up at UNAC, up in Akureyri. Where's he? Oh, there he is. Hi. Yeah. So we're very, very lucky to have these people joining us here in Iceland. Now I'm going to invite to take the stage a few of our Icelandic alumni from the student program who recently returned to Iceland after a successful stay in the U.S. We have our 2 most recent participants in the 6-week summer institutes for student leaders, Anna Gida, who studied social entrepreneurship at the University of Indiana 2 years ago, and Vigdis, who attended the summer institute on environmental issues at the University of Oregon last summer. Then we have Atla, who got her master's degree in engineering at UCLA, Friðrik, who did an LLM in law at Harvard, Hólmfríður, who got her master's in applied behavioral analysis at the University of North Texas, and Þorleifur, who got his master's in education at Columbia. So a diverse and interesting group who are going to tell us a little bit about their study, their experiences, what they're doing now, and what they've taken away from the Fulbright experience. So come on up, you guys.